right from the beginning, I told you that it is possible to defeat this virus provided we are disciplined and we understand the ways in which this virus spreads. The virus spreads in really two ways. Two ways. First of all, it spreads through the one with the virus sneezing. Okwetiamra. The other time I was trying to contribute English and I talked of sneezing out and sneezing in. Then my grandchildren told me that that was not real English. I said, what is the real English? They said what we call okwetiamra is the sneezing. That what we call okshoreza, when you suck in instead of blowing out, they say they call it sniffing. Ah, I said, but I thought it was a dog which sniffs on the ground, which is okaga. So anyway, I didn't resolve the issue with my grandchildren. So I have left it. I'm now following them. They say it is sneezing means okwetiamra. When you okwetiamra, I don't know, okwasamla kwa Muruganda. Huh? Okwasimla. So you can translate it in the local languages. But okwetiamra is this when you, by reflex action actually, it's not normally planned. It is reflex action where you blow out. And then coughing or cholera. When you do that near somebody, when somebody does that near you, you breathe in the virus from the air contaminated by his ruoya. Ruoya, if you don't know, because I'm trying to help the world, actually, not just Africans, because the world needs to know the knowledge of Africa. Ruoya. Ruoya is the moisture that comes from people's breathing particles of moisture, which the scientists call droplets. Droplets. The mist on a glass that you can see when it is in front of you and you breathe into it. If you go into the front of a glass and you breathe out, especially when it is cold, you will soon see a mist forming on the glass. That is the type of otherwise invisible moisture stream which comes out, and it has got what they call, these scientists, they call droplets. But I think for us, if you know Nyankore, you can call it ruoya. Ruoya, even from food, you can see the steam which comes out of the food. You don't call it smoke. That steam which comes from cooking food, please don't call it smoke. It is a ruoya. So the same ruoya which comes from us, I think when you cough or when you cough, especially when you sneeze, even when you breathe normally, if you breathe near a surface, you will see it. But the language, the word we use is ruoya. So it seems it's that ruoya which carries the virus to when people are near, when people are near you. So this is one way where the one with the virus either sneezes or coughs, and the virus rides on that invisible stream of microscopic mucuses and when you are near, it enters you. That's one way. The mist you see forming on the glass surface is the raw air or the droplets. It is that jet of raw air that carries the virus from the infected person to the victim. This is, as I have said above, one way the virus spreads. The second way is for the infected person, either through sneezing or coughing, or after blowing her nose or his nose, or kwefuka. I don't know what they call it in Uganda, or kwefuka, the Nyankore one. When you blow they say blowing your nose. Of course, this is very dangerous. You don't blow the nose. The nose is there. Blowing means you onalipua. Umuluganda bakita batya? That's the kunyiza. Oh, so when you kunyiza, or when you kunyiza, and then touches the surface, a table, or a door handle, or a book. So either you sneeze near a surface, and the droplets go on that surface, or you cough near a surface, and the microscopic raw air from the coughing settles on the surface, or you blow your nose, as they say, which is okunyiza, and then maybe using tissue which is not very thick, then it gets on your hands, your own hand, the one who has blown, and then you touch the surface. So the virus now goes from the person to the surface, a book, a Bible in the church. Some people think that the Bible should not be sanitized because they think, because they are holy, that God will come and sanitize them. But my Bible, the other day I was preaching, and I sanitized my Bible, and I'm sure God was happy with me. Any surface, a table, a door handle, a book, you either sneeze near it, or cough near it, or touch it after the kunyiza, the virus will stay there. And these people are saying that the virus, especially in the book, stays for a bit of time. When the book stays for how long? On the book, 5 days. Stay there, sitting. On the plastic. Yes, on plastics, it says longer. I don't know why. 9 days, they are sitting, waiting for a careless person to come and touch it. And then contaminates it with the virus. These are the only ways this virus will spread. That is why it is easy to defeat it, like we did with AIDS, by behavior change. Actually, I think this although we are not using that phrase yet, this virus is more of a behavior issue than anything else. Because you remember, when AIDS started, people thought it was simply a medical issue. But in the end, we defeated it by behavior. Yeah. Behavior change. So then once you you either get infected through the sneezing or the coughing, which is direct from the infected to the victim when you are nearby, or from the infector to the surface, and then the victim comes and touches himself. If you only touch and you don't touch yourself, the virus will stay on your hands for the whole day until you go and wash and it goes off. The only problem comes when you touch a contaminated surface and then you touch yourself. And not only touch yourself in a few sensitive parts. Not the leg, not the foot, not the arm, no. Just 3 points. The mouth, the nose, and the eyes. Finish. So really, for me, when I assess an enemy, I am able to know what to do. This problem is not as big as it looks. It is really more of a big problem of behavior and carelessness. Because it's not like a mosquito. You see, the mosquito is very dangerous because the mosquito can bite you, whatever precautions you take if you are out. Because it's not under your control. As long as the mosquitoes are around and you go out, they can bite you. But this one you can control. We can control. We can make sure that the one who is coughing, you don't go in public, first of all. Second, even if you go into public, don't get near him, you people. Originally they were saying the virus can fly for 1 meter, then they said 2 meters. Now the other day I saw them in BBC saying that it can fly for 4 meters. It can go for 4 meters. With the other kwetiamra, the sneezing and coughing, it can fly out. So this is the first point my comrade Ugandans, you need to understand. This virus can be stopped by us, by behavior. As we wait for the vaccines, as we wait for all those other things like with AIDS, because if we had to wait for the medicine of AIDS, it's now how many years? People would have been finished. When I alerted you about the AIDS, and I said, now, this thing is easy. Because we know the address, where it is. I told you. Why don't go to those places? Secondly, AIDS was coming from mother to child. That one we found a solution for it. Thirdly, it was coming from blood transfusion. And in no time we found a solution for that one also. So the 3 ways of AIDS were blocked. Were identified, advertised, I advertised them. My comrade in arms, Dr. Okwari, is a good comrade in arms, although we didn't agree on the on the tactics. For him, he was talking, love, carefully. He would put a small thing on TV. But you are not making alarm. When you make alarm, you make a big alarm, not just love carefully. But fortunately, he listened to my advice, and we worked together. So this is the same issue here. The 2 ways of this virus. If I have left a third one, these big people can tell me. All the big people are here, and all of them are doctors. If they say, you old man, you have left out something, then they will tell me that you forgot this one, you forgot that one. But from what I remember, these are the two ways. Kwesiamra, near other people. Or cholera, near other people. The one who has a kwesiamra, the one who has cholera, the one who has, what do you call, okwefka. Okwefka, they say it is a blow, that you are blowing your nose. And then you touch the surface, and then somebody touches the surface and touches himself. Not only touches himself, but touches himself in the few parts of the body. Yeah. I see people in the public touching their mouth, touching their eyes. What are these people doing with their eyes? Don't you know your eyes? Please, leave those eyes alone, and the mouth and the nose. The nose is dangerous because that one you need to clean it, but use the tissue. And use the left hand. Don't use the right. And when you use the left hand, please don't clap for the big people who are speaking in public. Please forget it. Thank them like that. Thank you very much for, or clap on the table like this with the right hand. We shall get time to praise the big people. Given the characteristics of this virus, it is my opinion that carelessness of the population, especially here in Uganda, is the main cause of the spread of this virus. In Europe, the USA, and Northern Asia, they may have more genuine challenges. First of all, they have very cold temperatures. I'm told that some of these viruses thrive in cold climates, unlike bacteria that like warm conditions, or those viruses with vector hosts, the ones which pass through other agents. For instance, yellow fever. Yellow fever is a virus. It passes through the mosquito, and that's how it is a problem. Actually, I'm now learning more. I thought viruses were very active in the tropics, but apparently they are not so successful in the tropics, except the ones which go through intermediate hosts, like the one of yellow fever. Is Ebola also a virus? But you know that one goes through monkeys. And I've been telling people, please don't eat monkeys. Why do you eat monkeys? Monkeys are your relatives. So how can somebody eat? How can somebody eat his relative? But somebody said Ebola also goes through other wild animals. Is this true? Which other wild animals? Baboons are your relatives. Bats. Oh, Banange, people eating bats. This is really madness. Why do you eat bats? I have cows. I have some of my people have goats. They have chicken at least. They have what do you call this? Condor, sheep. So you can see. It seems the viruses direct from human being to human being don't do well in the tropics. This one I didn't know. I've actually learned it recently. Some of my young teachers have. I'm also quite knowledgeable. So if you hear me speaking knowledgeable, don't think that I am the one who knew. I also studied from some other people. That apparently those cold climates because somebody was telling me that one of the reasons that virus is spreading very fast there in the north is that they had a very cold winter. Yeah. That very cold winter helped the virus to spread there. But it's not only the cold climate. It is secondly the way the people in Europe and America and Northern Asia, the way they live and travel in shared residential blocks using air conditioning, sharing old people's homes, sharing underground traveling systems with large numbers of people, that there is a system called the tube. I've never been in one, fortunately I've never been in anyone in one. That it is a tube, that they put you in a tube. Some of the things I hear, but I have never seen, but the name doesn't sound good. A tube. A human being to be put in a tube, that is... And how many people go in that tube? That there are very many. That's what I hear. Mm-hmm. Now, the other day you saw these ships, where these people were the rich people who all got sick, the cruise ships, which were in the ocean, they just there, but packed. So many people, I think there were like 10,000 or something like that in one ship. Huh? 250. Uh-huh. Huh? 250,000. So that way of life, plus the cold climate, don't sit here and say, because it has spread in Europe, it will also spread here. Please analyze your own situation. I don't like that monkeyism of copying, that you are learning. Analyze your own situation. Yeah. We are living a totally different life. So that's why because of the way they live and those cold climates and the way they travel with large numbers of people makes them prone to this type of problem, this type of attack. In our conditions, it is much easier to control a virus of this type, provided we act correctly. After analysis, one major way of defeating this virus was to deny it large concentrations of people that it could infect. Hence, most of the list of the 34 measures which I announced on the 18th of March, the 21st of March, and the 30th of March 2020 were in that line of dispersing the big concentrations of Ugandans so that we deny the virus where to land. The following were the measures. 1, close all the education institutions, which were 73,000 of them. You can imagine, 73,000 education institutions with a combined population of 15 million young Ugandans. So we told our young people, our future, we said, you go home, leave these concentration sites. Number 2, suspend communal prayers in mosques, churches, or in stadia and other open air venues, or even in closed ones, because some of them try to convert homes into prayer communal. So it's we stopped all communal praying. The other day on Sunday, I was a preacher and I preached to just a small group of my grandchildren, and I'm sure God was hearing us. Stop all public political rallies, cultural gatherings, or conferences. 4, ban Ugandans from moving to or through Category 1 country. That was the time when we still were allowing the airlines to land here. We didn't allow people to go to or through those countries which were bad off that time. 5, allow returning Ugandans, provided they undergo mandatory quarantine at their cost for 14 days at the venue identified by the ministry. That's when we were still allowing Ugandans to come back from abroad. Number 6, allow the non-agricultural gathering points, e.g. factories, hotels, large plantations, markets, tax parks, to continue and follow the SOPs. That's when we were still thinking that the work sites, all of them without distinction, should continue, the non-agricultural work sites, hotels and so on, and markets. 7, we had to discourage the Uganda-style weddings, which I call the hexagonal, where the clan of the boy comes, the clan of the girl comes, the maternal uncles of the boy, of Koja, of the boy come, the maternal uncles of the girl come, then the maternal uncles of the father come, then the. So when I tried to count how many groups were involved, I thought they were 6-sided. That's why I called it the hexagonal, 6-sided, extravagant Ugandan-style weddings. Weddings allowed only a maximum of 7 people. You just go with the relevant people, the ones who are really crucial for the operation. The boy and the girl, crucial. Then the priest. Then the 2 parents, this 2 for this side, 2 for the other side. I don't know whether the flower girls and all those people are necessary, but the wedding could go on. But maybe the matron and the what do you call the other one? The best man, to act as witnesses, to say that we were there when these people were getting married. I think that may be legally important. Barriers. We said barriers cannot be postponed. That would be too much. But please, let a small number of people, the immediate people, be the ones to bury. And since that time, I'm aware even people whom I know myself have died and have been buried, and it has been no problem. They've been buried. One of our army officers, Skaj, died. The other day we had one of our prominent people in Shema area, Ruihangwe, died. The other day we had the father of Monica Mkama dying, and other people. We had one of our very strong women leaders in Mukono, Mchara Makumbi. She died, and so people have been listening. We suspended the monthly auction, cattle markets, livestock markets in the rural areas, Ebikomera, and also suspended the weekly food markets, the Obutari. In Ankole they make a distinction. If it is the cattle market, they call it a Chikomera. If it is food market, which is weekly, they call it a Katari. We stopped all that. We said if you want to buy, you go to the farm. Because the whole idea here is don't gather these people. Don't gather people who are coming from different places. This is the whole point. so that if the problem is somewhere, let it remain there. We isolate it there until we solve it. But the problem when you can imagine in a market or a chikomera, you are getting people from 10,000 sources, like our chikomera of Ntungamo. Oh, it was covering the whole one half of Rwampara and Ruhama. So you can imagine. The ones from Ruchindo, the ones from Ruhama, the ones from Itojo, the ones from Ntungamo, they all come. And then they all go back. There is no way you can control an infectious disease. There's no way. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. So we are saying, don't gather. If you want to go and buy, you go and buy food from the farm. Because there it is you and the farm. Even if there is a problem, it's just between the two of you. It's between the farm people, in case they have a problem, and you who went to buy. And when the problem comes, you can trace. Suppose something happens in the farm. A disease breaks out. You can come and say, whom have you interacted with in the last 2 weeks? Oh, a man came from Kampala and bought food from here. Oh, what is his name? It's now easy to follow. But how would you follow 10,000 people who came to a monthly market? How? You don't even have a record. But even if you have the record, it will be too much work. So this is the logic. At that time, we were still allowing public transport systems of buses, minibuses, borders to continue, provided we gave them SOPs, how to operate. That time we thought we could tell them to wash their hands, to do this, to not overload and things like that. We thought it would work. That time we suspended all the discos, the dances, the bars, sports, music shows, cinemas and concerts. That was number 11. Number 12, we advised the public to maintain hygiene measures such as not coughing or sneezing, no spitting, washing with soap and water or using sanitizers, regularly disinfecting surfaces such as tables, door handles, and not touching your eyes, nose, or mouth with contaminated or unwashed hands. That was number 12. We advised the public on good nutrition to strengthen the body defense system. 14, stopped all passengers coming into by air, land, or water. This was later, which we announced a bit later. Because the dates, some measures were announced on the 18th, others on the 21st, others on the 30th. We kept increasing. This came later. We stopped all passengers coming into Uganda by air, land, or water. This was now when we saw that the attempt to control them, to let them come, but we controlled them. We found it was, after the cases which came in, they were from those. The extra days we added. Had we, when we made the first announcement, I think we would have blocked many of the cases which came to surface later. This affected incoming planes, buses, taxis, or boats. We closed Entebbe International Airport and all other border points of entry except for cargo aeroplanes and cargo vehicles. 15, we now prohibited pedestrians from entering from the neighboring countries, because originally we were not so much minding about pedestrians, but this time we added them on. 16, all public passenger transport vehicles are stopped. So now this time we stopped all public passenger vehicles. Taxis, coasters, buses, passenger trains, tukutuku, and border borders. 17, only food sellers should remain in the markets, and the non-food sellers should suspend their activities. 18, private vehicles. At that time, we said the private vehicles should continue, but with 3 people. Now the problem is that very soon, that one will come later. Number 19, however, we exempted ambulances, army vehicles, garbage collection vehicles. Those ones had to continue, and even now I'm sure they are continuing. Now later on, very soon we realized that the private vehicles which we had allowed had now become public passenger vehicles. These Ugandans, money can kill them. Where there is money, the Ugandans will die. This one I have confirmed. Esente zigenda kubamalawo. Omululu gwa sente. You can imagine we are talking about death, and we are saying don't carry people because you don't know whether they are carrying a virus or not. The people had said, you move with your private car, because we were assuming that a person is moving with his family. The driver and 2 children. And even then you don't go with all the children, just with 2, because we didn't want overcrowding. Or, Garvin Dizabwe, ziri ku sente. Buli kyatunulako sente. So, the people who are private car owners, they saw now an opportunity. Katonda yebale. The tax people have been removed from the business. The border borders have been removed from the business. Now we, the car owners, are now going to become the taxis. So they would dutifully carry 2 people, but the 2 people are not family members. 2 people are bapangisa, are passengers, and they are paid a very high price, 50,000 from Kampala to Jinja. Even if you load the whole what do you call it, the whole taxi, I don't think you will get so much. To get 100,000 from 2 people, when you load 14 passengers, how much would you get between here and Jinja? When a taxi is fully loaded with 14, huh? Mm-hmm. It's not the same as you carrying 2 people. Yes, even if it was a fully loaded tax, it would pay maybe 50. He would earn maybe 50,000. 50,000 going, 50,000 coming back. But this one was earning 100,000 going, 100,000 coming back. So, and of course, apart from the unchristian behavior, which one feels very sorry about, what sort of Ugandans omululu bananga wasente? But more seriously was that it was undermining our whole strategy of not mixing up people. So that is the whole point. Don't mix up. So that when the problem comes, it only remains in one area and we find it there and isolate it. So that's why we said, no. Even the private cars stop moving. All of you stop moving. Then we suspended, 21, we suspended shopping arcades, hardware shops, which gather a lot of people to sell and buy non-food items. These were suspended for 14 days, starting on the 1st of April. Directed all the non-food shops, which some of our people call stores, to close. Because for me, from Mtungamo, I know that a duka is a duka. A duka is a shop. Now when you say store is where they keep a mwani. So how can a shop be a store? So we have had a very big disagreement. But some people said when they are back home in America, that they call shops stores. I said, but now we are back home here, so let's use what we know here. Zinakulira kuduka banange. Duka zaba yindi ntungamo. Duka. Bogamba. Store yemwanyi. It was in Kahunga, run by the cooperative. That's the store. With multiple definitions, but for no definition anymore. So we said all the shops should close. Only food shops and shops selling agricultural products, selling veterinary, selling detergents, and selling medicine should remain open. But some deliveries could be encouraged, so that people, instead of going to the shop, you get home deliveries. Abantu baleeta ebyetaagisa awaka instead of going to the shops. 23. The supermarkets for food should remain open, but with clear SOPs that restrict numbers that enter and leave the site at a given time, and handling of trolleys within the supermarket. Because the trolleys were a dangerous point of infection. Because somebody would come and push, another one comes and push. So there we needed some SOPs, maybe the use of gloves, and then the numbers to be controlled, not have too many in the supermarket that they go. 24, established food markets in Kampala and other towns should continue to be open while maintaining social distances. And 25, the sellers in those markets must not go home during the 14 days. They must arrange to stay nearby for that duration. It is that mixing that we want to freeze between home and route to home and work, and then the workplace. I must tell you that I was very much impressed. I hope that picture of the women sleeping in the market, Nabusai, would be kept to show how the Ugandans are abarwani. Because me, I know the Ugandans. I read them during the wars. All the things you are talking about are nothing to us. For us, Swasuranga Munsiko, Mutare, slept in the bush. And when we were in danger, now to danger of being killed, now to do it just for our health, is I knew they would do it. And I was very, very happy to see that picture of those women. The only thing to do now is that you should give them treated bed nets so that they don't have they are not bitten by mosquitoes. And also you could give them polythene overa to protect themselves against the rain. But also you can fumigate. Like here, I normally fumigate around Nakasero to kill the mosquitoes. So around those markets, cases here can fumigate. So that when you sleep out, when there are no mosquitoes and you have got a good blanket, there's no problem. There's no problem. Saloons, are they saloons or salons? What's the proper word? What's that? Huh? But is it a French word? Uh-huh. Is it double O or single? Double O. That would be a saloon car. Anyway, whatever it is. That garage of the hair, where you people, you take the hair, One day I found one of my daughters being cooked. I said, but the girl is being cooked. Because she had put her head in something which was oktogota. You know, when you are cooking food on a saucepan, when the water is boiling, it's called oktogota. When the boiling water, the noise it makes. So I found my daughter. I said, this will have cooked my daughter. I was about to fight, but they said, no, this is Banang. Okay, Yamu. If you can break it. So the saloons, the lodges, the garages should also be shut for 14 days. Number 27, like the farms, factories should remain open, but the owners should arrange for the crucial employees to camp around the factory area for the 14 days. If they cannot do that, let them suspend production for 14 days. 28, construction sites should continue if they can be able to encamp their workers for 14 days. Otherwise, they should suspend construction for 14 days. 29, the essential services, i.e. the medical, agriculture, the veterinary, telecommunications, door-to-door delivery, financial institutions, all media, private security companies, cleaning services, garbage collection, fire brigade, fuel stations, water departments, and some cases here staff should continue to operate. That was number 29. 30th, cargo transport by train, plane, lorry, pickup, tuk-tukus, boda-boda, and bicycle within Uganda and between Uganda and the outside must continue, but only with minimum numbers technically needed as follows: cargo aircraft, only the crew; lorry, not more than 3 persons, i.e. driver, turnboy plus one person, and as will be directed by the Ministry of Transport, working with the National Task Force on the coronavirus. 31, URA should also not close on account of not paying tax. URA should not close people's businesses just because they have not paid taxes. They can give them time. 32, gatherings of more than 5 persons was prohibited. And 33, except for cargo planes, lorries, pickups, trains, starting with the 31st of March, at 1900 hours, there would be a curfew throughout the whole of Uganda. So during the night, only cargo planes, lorries, we had to allow the lorries to continue moving in the night because they need to get to Kampala by morning to bring the food. Otherwise, it will create a big problem. But it's no problem. There are just a few people who are moving. So those can move at night. The cargo planes, the lorries, the pickups, the trains could move. But everybody else had to obey the curfew. And the reason we introduced curfew was security. Because some people were beginning to use the night now to attack people, to steal, to do what? You know, there is a Satan in Africa, I think, but even in other parts of the world. But I think in Africa, Satan has become has been very active there for a long time. I think we should send him away so that he goes to other places. Because you stop them doing this, they doing this trouble, they make another trouble. You stop this one, they make another one. So it's really amazing why Ugandans cannot settle down and do good things for their own interest. The curfew already starts at 1900 hours, which is 7 o'clock, in the night, in Swahili saa moja, shahe muichiro, and ends at 6:30 in the morning, what they call 6:30 in English, which means saa kumi na mbili na nusu in Swahili. 34, in order to deal with other health emergencies, permission can be sought from the RDC to use private transport to take a sick person to hospital. Additionally, government vehicles that do not belong to UPDF, police, prisons, or Uganda Wildlife Authority will be pooled and deployed at the district health offices, including the divisions of Kampala, with their drivers staying in tented compounds ready to help those health emergencies. Those vehicles will be under the command of the district medical officer. Now, it seems our people are not used to money this type of emergency center. When we say the RDC is the one to give exemption, it cannot be the RDC, because RDC is busy. He's in meetings, he's what? He should set up an operations office headed by one of the officers, because there are so many officers there. And those people should have no other job except to sit and receive calls. So that when somebody rings, there should be no question of wait or what. No. There should be somebody there to receive the call. And they can do it in turns. One group works for 12 hours. They go away, another group comes. That's what I told the RDCs, to form those operational groups, to receive calls and respond, receive and respond. You don't wait for the RDC to come for a meeting and you brief him. No, you act as agreed according to the standing arrangements which you have agreed. This is how we work. Whether I'm here or not here, there is what we call office on duty for the army. 24 hours. You cannot say, I have gone to State House and the one in charge had gone away. It is no way. There is somebody who is there to receive inquiries. That's what should be done at the district level. Have that. You can call it call center. You can call it operations room. You can call it operations room. Whatever you call it. But people who are on duty 24 in shifts. People cannot. One person cannot be there for 24 hours. They'll be tired, but they can work like for 12 hours and they go away and another group comes. And the RDC can distribute those people there. The CDO, the what, this other one of even the veterinary. You can make them into an improvised operations group at the district level. Then we added 35 later, that borders should stop their operation at 2 p.m. And so should the bicycles, because also the bicycles have come up, the ones of delivery. But maybe the bicycles, we can study them first. Study the bicycles with the Katumba, and we see, because people have been using them to go back home. You study and then you can advise me. The bicycles. But for the borders, stop at 2. Why? Because they were being used for crime. When you allow them to go into the night, then they start using them for crime. Now, these measures seem to have worked because we have up to the 13th of April, which is yesterday, 2020, which some people call 2020, how do you say it? 2020, eh? 2020. So 2020, up to yesterday, we had tested 5,664 persons. And out of those, only 54 have been found positive with the virus. Out of these, 4,015 were returnees from abroad. These 5,600 something, 4,000 of them were returnees from abroad, where the problem came from. 1,232 were those who interacted with the returnees in the language of the Ministry of Health, because they like to use words which exclude us, we ordinary people. In their language, they call them contacts. They are contacts. When I had contacts, I thought they were like our underground contacts. Kumbe, they meant the people who had interacted with the returnees. And 402 were people who had not traveled or had not been in contact with the returnees, but were people who got worried and volunteered to be tested, known in the language of the Ministry of Health as the alert group, that they are called the alert. So you people, you try to catch up with the Ministry of Health. I don't know what they call the returnee. The returnee is my word. The ones who came from outside, what are they in your language? Also, okay, they are like me. They are a bit ordinary there. They're the ones who came from outside, they are called returnees. The ones they interacted with are called contacts. The ones who are not interacted with the returnees, but who get worried, they say, I want to be checked. I have a cold, I have this, I have this. Those, they call them alert, that they are alert. I don't know why they call them alert, I have not followed, but sometimes I just use words. So that I also keep in the company. I don't look out of place. So, all the three are the 5,664. But you can see the big majority are the returnees, the 4,015. And then the people they contacted here, they interacted with 1,232. And then the Nyekundires, the ones, the volunteers, who said, I want to be checked, maybe I feel something. So, you can see, I don't want to say too much here, to start celebrating, say, oh, we have succeeded, we have won. No, but the facts are here. 5,664 people have been checked, including many returnees, 4,000 of them, who are coming from that dangerous place where they were coming from. And the people they contacted when they got here. And out of all those, only 54 have proved positive. The following were the tests day by day up to the 13th of April, starting with the 21st of March 2020, when we got the first case. They are all here. The other time I had read them for you. I think that time I went up to, by day, 21st of March, the total was no, 21st of March, 11 were tested, only one was negative, only one was positive. 22nd, 22 were tested, they were all negative. 23rd, 35 were tested, 8 were positive. That's when we had a big number. 24th, 143 were tested, only 5 were positive. 25 March, 104 were tested, nobody was positive. 26 March, 201 were tested, 4 were positive, and so on. So on some of the days, you got 0, like on there was no positive. Like for instance, on March 30th, 82 were tested, nobody was positive. 1st of April, 63 were tested, nobody was positive. 4th of April, 398 were tested, nobody was positive. 6th of April, 231 were tested, nobody was positive. 7th of April, 150 were tested, nobody was positive. 8th of April, 2014 were tested, only 1 was positive. April 9th, 338 were tested, nobody was positive. 10th of April, 439 were tested, nobody was positive. 11th of April, 555 were tested, nobody was positive. 12th of April, which was the other day, 169 were tested, only 1 was positive. Now, yesterday, they tested 639, and nobody was positive. So that's how we get the 5,649. Although the figures here, they're a bit mixed up, they will sort them out. But in addition to our domestic tests of the 5,600 and something, the other day, yesterday, our people started testing the interstate cargo transport drivers. They started testing these drivers who are driving throughout the whole of East Africa and going from country to country. They tested 372 drivers who entered through the Malaba entry point, and they were found all negative. That's good news. So you people, you are fearing nothing. You are fearing nothing. The Banyankole say, "Otarhunge mtsindo, otake the beshi chikolatiri." When you hear, msinde, when you hear steps, when you hear steps behind you, don't run away before you look behind to see what is making the msinde. Because you may run away and you are running from a hen. A hen is the one making it. And for you think it is a big animal, when in fact you are just running away from. So they will say he ran away from the hen because he never looked there. Now below is there for the curve. What is the curve? You show me that curve. Below is there for the curve of Uganda's progression in terms of discovered infections day by day. Now this curve here, these are curves of the whole world. These are countries of the whole world which were compiled by, because these are the days on the horizontal axis. These are the numbers on the vertical. So you see where other countries are. Uganda is here. It's flat. You've been hearing people talking of flattening the curve, So the Uganda one is so this curve should be integrated in this speech. Immediately after this sentence. Kalamu yangu nani? So all the countries are here, the major ones. So during these 3 weeks, 18th of March, 13th of April, when we have been working on blocking the importation of the virus from the outside by closing the airports, quarantining the returnees, fishing out the returnees that had merited in the community, testing them as well, testing their contacts. That is the people they interacted with. We have managed to get these results, which I have mentioned above. We are still following up the 18,000 people that entered the country through the airport between the 7th of March and the 22nd of March. There are, however, additional danger points as follows. The land borders with the East and Central African countries are a source of possible problems. The cargo trucks and their drivers and crews of the trucks and the crews of the trains which come here, the aircraft crew members for cargo planes, the UN workers whom we are allowed to fly in and out, and the health workers who are treating the coronavirus people. So we handled the airports issue, and people are coming from outside, but there are these front lines. The borders, the truck drivers, the train drivers, the cargo aircraft crews, and the UN staff, and the health workers who are interacting with the patients. So now this is where we are now going to concentrate now. With the infiltrations from the neighboring countries, we are relying on two elements: the LOC1s and the village members, who should not allow their villages to be polluted with this disease by allowing strangers to hide among them, and then the corrupt immigration and police personnel that in exchange for bribery allow strangers to enter Uganda illegally. So these are the two danger points. I trust the LOCs. They will not allow anybody to come to their villages because they do it in their own interest. But the real danger are the corrupt police and immigration. Security is going to strengthen the counterintelligence efforts to eliminate corruption in our forces. And anybody found guilty will face the charge of murder or attempted murder. Because if we allow that, you are allowing people who could bring a disease which could kill Ugandans, then we charge you for attempted murder or for actual murder in case what you did results into the death of people. You are not going to be charged for corruption and negligence or auditing, no. It will be for murder or attempted murder, because you now know. It's not that you don't know the consequences. It will not be nice for them. On the issue of the truck crews, the driver and two others, they will be tested at the border, but they do not have to wait for the test results. They can continue with their journey, and the outcome of the test will be communicated to them later, and further management will follow as is necessary. Within the country, the truck drivers, whether transiting or destined to Uganda, will only stop at designated points in the country and nowhere else. These truck drivers are not supposed to go wherever they want. They should only go to designated points. And they should be monitored to ensure that they do not deviate. The crews of the cargo planes that fly into the country will be accommodated in designated hotels. The health workers dealing with the coronavirus patients will be given the necessary masks, surgical, N95 and all that. They know what they need, and other protective gear. Many of these will be manufactured here. We shall only import a few and make them here. We're already making plans for that. Our scientists are even inventing new products for testing. The Ugandan factories have resolved the issue of alcohol-based sanitizers. That one is already resolved. Given the successes we have achieved and also the challenges that remain, the government has decided to keep the stay-home decision for another 21 days, starting tomorrow, the 15th of April, 2020, up to the 5th of May, 2020. This is in order to give ourselves more time to study the situation for a longer period. Therefore, all the measures previously announced will stay in place for another 21 days. This additional 21 days will definitely help us to defeat this virus decisively, or if not defeated totally, to prepare better as to how to cope with it. We are, for instance, encouraging the local industries to produce the masks so that we have them on a large scale. They seem to help one not to spread the virus if managed properly. What happens to public transport? Suppose the virus doesn't go away in the world. Are we going to continue blocking public transport forever? Even after the 21 days? We shall have to discuss that during this time and see what to do. Do we encourage bicycles more? Of course, bicycles are good because you go alone, you don't go in a group. And it is healthier. It is, if people are riding bicycles, we would be having very, very rich big stomachs in Kampala. And I think the Honorable Minister, Jenna Cheng, would be happy. Because even before the coronavirus came, 40% of the people who are dying in the hospital were dying because of eating too much and not exercising. And they were calling it non-communicable diseases. People die from food. They eat until they die. And 40 people out of 100 who are dying in the hospital were dying because of eating too much and not exercising. So these bicycles really would help, because riding to and from work, first you would have no overcrowding, but the exercising is very good. We are now using the testing. We are now using the testing of the particles of the virus. The test they are using now, they test for something they call RNA, which is some particles, some nucleus of the virus. They can tell you the science. I hear it is a bit expensive. Each test costs $65 for PCR. This includes the reagents and the sample collection materials. Our scientists are developing cheaper tests that could go for $25 per test, and also the test for the human antibodies reaction, even to an already defeated invasion by the virus. Because now they are testing the presence of the virus in your nose, but they seem not to have the test for antibodies yet. So that means if I got the virus and I defeated it, like these ones who have been discharged, that means it's no longer in my nose. So you have no proof, no way of knowing whether I have ever been attacked and defeated this enemy. You don't know. You don't know that I am a veteran. That's dangerous. Veterans are here, but you don't know them. Now, why do we need to know the veterans? The ones who defeated the enemy. We need to know them because when they were fighting, whom did they get in touch with? Because if we knew, the other time when I was going, after the long walk, I had a very bad cold. After I was joking with Mama Janet, I said I think I defeated Corona before these people knew about it. After that long walk, I had a very bad cold and a very bad cough, and I went going to Togo. From Togo, I went to London for the meeting in London. I was coughing, but I defeated it. So suppose it was Corona, but you didn't know. I am now a veteran. I would now be a veteran, but you wouldn't know, because you are not testing. You are only testing the present, not the past. But so we need to solve that. Our people will work to solve that problem of the antibodies test. This is good. This is good for three reasons. First of all, those who defeat the virus become a fire break. Because if I have defeated the virus, that means the virus can no longer go through me. So when the virus is coming from somewhere, it comes to me, it cannot continue. I don't continue to pass it on to somebody else. So with the cattle keepers, we would call that a fire break, where you clear a patch. Either you clear with the bulldozer, or you clear with the fire, friendly fire. Then when the wildfire comes, it can't continue because it has nothing to sustain it. So these veterans, the ones who survived, if there were many, that's why they talk. Our scientists here talk of the herd immunity. If 60% of Ugandans had gone through the attack by the virus wouldn't spread. Why? It would go from the one who is infected, and then the next one doesn't continue because he's immune. So we need to know that situation, how many people were attacked and overcame the disease without us knowing. Secondly, we study their contacts to see how they are. because some of the people may be in the villages there. Even the people who died, some people may have died, they think he has died from something else, when it is actually he had an old heart attack, heart problem, he had old diabetes, then he dies. He died from his old problem. But it could be that it was corona, which Banyankore call it okura. In English you would call it coup de grace, where you finish off somebody who is already weak, but you finish him off. It's called okura, when you kill somebody who was already weak. So it's called okura. It could be that corona is the one which did it. So we needed to have these checks. Now, one of my people gave me a good word. He called it verbal autopsy. That's called verbal autopsy. Autopsy is when you open a dead body to find out what killed it. But one of my people said, no, this verbal autopsy, when you go to the village, he said, how many people have died here? So they call that verbal autopsy. Then you collect the people who have died, then you now check. You check the ones who didn't die. You may find that if you find the ones who survive, who are around, but who are still alive, if they have the antibodies, then you suspect that even the other ones died from the antibody, the virus. Thirdly, they help us in studying how to defeat this virus, because if you study the veterans, how did they defeat the virus? Some people are even saying that their plasma, the plasma, that some of the groups in the world, somebody was trying to mention some group, I don't want to mention it here, that they use the blood, the plasma of the survivors to treat the sick. Somebody, you know me, I always poach some information from all sorts of sources. So we therefore need to know these our people who survived who were attacked and survived, and we didn't know. One of the problems of this virus seems to be people who get infected but show no signs. The medical language is that they are asymptomatic. They are not sick themselves, but can infect others for at least 34 days. Somebody has been infected, showing no signs, is not sick, is not coughing, because that's what we are following now. You are sick, even here. When somebody coughs, you go to the virus. I have sent quite a few cabinet ministers, and among the 5,600 that I was reading here, I think some of them are my big people. So we are now using either the people who are put in the quarantine, whom we check by force, or the one who has coughed, or the one who has volunteered himself, nyekundire. But the problem is this person who is not sick, he may not even know himself, but he has been exposed and he has defeated the virus. And it says that at least for 34 days, he will be infecting others. He will be infecting others. After that, he will overcome the virus and he will no longer be infective. But for 34 days, he will be infecting other people. So, the infected people that have virus but will not show the signs, either they can spread it to others if they are too near or through the contaminating the surfaces. That's why testing more people would be useful. We are now only testing those who came from the outside between the 7th of March and the 22nd of March 2020, the people that interacted with them that are called contacts, the ones that fall sick and show signs, or the ones that go to warden and request to be tested. If we do not have the problem of the quiet carriers, the asymptomatic ones, we could say that since the ones that showed the signs are within the 54 that proved positive and we have been treating are now known, there are no other people infected among Ugandans, and we would then concentrate on the travelers, the ones coming from outside etc. However, we cannot say that now because there could be those silent carriers. That's why people may say, if you say that you have tested almost 6,000 people, only 54 are positive, why do you inconvenience us again with another 21 days of okutawanya? The main answer is that these 54 may not be the only ones, because these 54, we got them by, first of all, blocking some people whom we quarantined near the airport. Secondly, we traced their contacts and looked for them. And thirdly, some of the people who suspect and fall sick, they report, and we test them. But you see, this one does not address the other one who fell sick, who was infected, but he did not fall sick. He did not even know. You cannot blame him that he knew and kept quiet. He simply didn't know, and nobody knew. But he would be infecting people for 34 days. For 34 days. That's where the problem is now. That's why we think it is safer. We should not be like the woman who wanted to deliver at 8 months, or a cow which wanted to deliver at 8 months. The one which produced before the 9th month. It would be better for the cow to be patient until the 9 months are finished and it produces properly. So let's not be impatient. Let's wait for another 21 days, and we really try to see, because if somebody got the virus and he's the asymptomatic type and didn't fall sick, he's circulating in the village or in his home, although we have a clamp down, but he's circulating with his family. The whole family cannot be asymptomatic. If some of them are infected, then we would hear that, oh, out of the 20 people in Museveni's home, 2 are sick. Then we bring them and test them. Oh, you are positive. But how about the 18 members of the family? We also tested, we found the 18 were infected but asymptomatic. But that's why we need this, because they may have already been past the 34 days. That's why we need the other antibody. So that's why we need to watch a bit more. These ones through the airport, we have followed them up. But let's wait a bit. Let's just keep quiet. Like the bush way I told you. When you're walking in the bush, you don't kawaza. You don't walk in the grass. Because when you walk on the grass, you don't hear. The feet are stopping you from hearing. When you want to hear if there is any problem near, you keep quiet. You keep quiet. Then you will hear. So let's first keep quiet. Let's not start the movement and up and down. No. 21 days, more, keep quiet. If there's anything, it will come up. If it has not come up, then we say, okay, we have tried our best. Let's move for better or for worse. We shall see how to move, as they say in the Christian marriages. We go, if things work out, they work out. If they don't, that's God's problem. But at least we would have tried. Therefore, I would like to appeal to the Ugandans to observe the prohibitions already announced and summarized above. Stay at home except for those carrying cargo, including food. The youth stop going into the trading centers to loiter. I hear the children who went on holiday, who were sent home, instead of helping their parents in the garden, they are in the trading centers. What are you doing in the trading centers? Be in the gardens with your parents. It is better for health, but it is also good for you. This is the season of planting. What are you doing in the trading centers? The other day, we punished soldiers that caned people, chiboko, or beat people in any other way. This was because they violated the standing orders of the policing. You only use violence in self-defense. Nobody has a right to assault a member of the security forces. If you do that, the member of the security forces has a right to use reasonable force to subdue you and arrest you. Throwing stones at members of the security forces is very dangerous. Stones thrown at the rural-based security forces that will not have anti-riot equipment, such as shields and helmets, can result in the death of a member of the security forces, as happened to Assistant Inspector of Police John Bosco Ariong of the police here in Kampala. A police officer was killed in Kampala by thugs who were throwing stones. Therefore, in self-defense, those forces will use live fire to disable the stone throwers. In the rural areas, please be very careful. It's not like in Kampala here, where the police is well equipped with shields, with helmets. You can throw stones at them, then they can use the shields to block them. But in the rural areas, they don't have those, the police. And you're not going to throw stones at them, and then you injure them, and then they let you go. So it's very, very risky. I would advise those people who are throwing stones to not to do it at all. If the anti-riot police that are well equipped are available, they may initially use softer methods. The bottom line, however, is not to endanger the lives of the security forces that are carrying out lawful orders. We shall defeat this virus by protecting our people from its rapid spread. We do not want what happened in some other countries to happen here, hence the shutdown. However, even in the shutdown, there are activities that must continue, such as work on the farms to produce food, crops for food and crops for cash. Work in the factories to produce factory goods, provided the factories camp their workers nearby. If not in the factory grounds, nearby schools can be used. Cargo transport by trains, planes, lorries, pickups, and border borders. However, border borders must only operate up to 2 p.m. because sometimes criminals use them to do evil things. Other essential services such as provision of utilities, electricity, water, telecommunications, medical, veterinary, agricultural inputs provision, media, financial institutions, door-to-door deliveries, cleaning services, garbage collection, fuel stations. We forgot to add here funeral services also. Those should continue. The other time we had added them, but as is constantly clarified by the task force, the National Task Force. The National Task Force will clarify in case of need. With the markets, we only allowed the food ones to be the ones to continue provided the sellers undertake to stay near or in the markets, because it was the commuting to and from work that was the source of the problem. That is how the disease was spreading. I salute the market women that agreed to stay in the market. As I said earlier, I have already ordered Dr. Jenna Cheng to give them treated anti-mosquito nets and polythene sheeting to protect them from the rain. The KCCA and other urban authorities should also fumigate the areas near those markets to kill the mosquitoes. They should also fumigate areas where the cargo vehicle crews will be camping at the different stop points, the other interstate transporters. If they are going to stop in Naruere, where they camp, please fumigate around there. Make sure there are no mosquitoes. If they are going to stop in Rukaya, in Mijera, wherever, make sure it is fumigated and there are no mosquitoes. We don't want to infect our people with the malaria. If you do not have mosquitoes, drivers can spread ground sheets under their lorries and sleep. You can sleep under the lorry. Instead of trying to stay in hotel rooms where they can infect one another. I was discussing with His Excellency Kenyatta. These drivers, where should they stay? In Nakuru? Stay in hotels. Are you going to have hotels only for, even if you say it is only for the drivers? Will they not infect one another? Why do you want them to stay in the hotel? For me, I prefer to stay outside, and either in his car, in the cabin of his lorry, sleep there, go and buy food. You should arrange somewhere they can buy food. But if you have fumigated around, they can sleep under their lorries, and the following morning they continue. Finally, on the issue of food support, this food support is for mainly the urban groups that were depending on daily earnings from the different activities that were suspended in this fight against the virus. These activities include the following: working in hair salons, in bars, nightclubs, garages, selling non-food items in markets, etc. The qualifications for these food grants are two. You are depending on a daily earning, leja. Omuntu ono yali akola leja. Bamusasula buli lunaku. That was suspended by the government and corona measures. And two, you do not grow your own food. These are the two qualifications. The person in the village in Ntungamo, in Karegia, you don't say, I want food because of corona, please. But you have been growing your muhogo. Corona has not stopped muhogo. I have heard, I'm absolutely sure about this. There's no anti-corona measure that has stopped the growing of muhogo. So why do you want to get free food? It's only these two categories. Yeah. The one who is getting a monthly salary does not fall here. If you are getting a monthly salary, please wait for your salary. It is only this one who has, they are known. I'm sure if people are not cheating, they can easily identify these groups. Because like the border rider, I think he rides and is paid for that day. Yeah. If he doesn't ride, he's not paid. And he doesn't grow food. This is the one we are talking about. Not any other category, not Omsomesa, the teacher who will be paid whether he's teaching or not. those are not the people we are talking about. The definition should be clear. That's what I'm clarifying here. It is the leja. Do you still use that word? It was well known in the past, in the 50s here. Leja, you work. If you don't work today, we don't pay you. These are the ones we are talking about. So, and I would appeal to Ugandans, because that money people are trying to grab through food grants is your money. The question is, do we use it to spoil it, just giving food to people who should not get it? Or do we save the money and do better things for you? A better road for you, a better school for you. You see, this is your money. Whether we use it here as food, and we forget about the roads, and the schools, and the future, and we only eat it and cham, and then it is finished, and then we say we have no money for this, we have no money for that. It's your money, whether we use it here or here. It is yours, really. But my strong advice, we should divert a little bit of it to food for only this vulnerable category. They are vulnerable and they are known. It is not an anti-poverty. You see, some people say anti-poverty. If you are poor before Corona, but you are eating, you continue eating the way you are eating. Your poverty issues, we shall handle them separately. That's why the other time I was traveling around the country, telling you how to get out of poverty. That's another medicine. It's not this one. This one is specifically for the Reja people. But Reja, which was affected by our anti-corona actions. If you had other problems not connected with what are the anti-corona actions? We have closed the bars. So if these barmaids were being paid daily, these are the ones because we have closed them. Why have we closed them? So that they don't spread the disease. Hair salons. The girl was, I don't know whether they don't get asthma from those hairs which they work on, but somehow they survive. The ones who are working on the hair, like the ones I found cooking my daughter. I think the more heads you cook, the more you are paid. So if you have not cooked the heads, you will not be paid. These are the people we are talking about. So please, let the issue of food not be another big diversion. Your government needs to fund durable things like your roads, support agriculture, support UDB to your Ugandan investors so that need to produce the products that we have been getting from abroad, etc. We should therefore not fraudulently clamor for free food when we do not fall in these two categories. Let the government spend money on production and not just consumption. I thank the majority of Ugandans for cooperating and supporting the tough measures we have been announcing ever since the 18th of March 2020. You have seen how much damage this virus has caused in other countries. I don't know whether you watch the TVs. Really, countries have suffered. We should not allow that to happen here. Apart from preventing the spread of the virus, we have, of course, also successfully been treating all the 54 confirmed positive cases at Entebbe and Mulago. 7 of those were discharged recently from Entebbe Hospital, and another 8 are due for discharge from Mulago Hospital today or tomorrow. So the 54 we are talking about, actually, they are now getting less. The patient at Ajumani Hospital will be discharged today as well. I salute our doctors and health workers for the commendable work. The other day I spoke by phone to the Prime Minister of India, His Excellency Narendra Modi. India will supply us with the hydroxychloroquine as well as the raw materials to make it here. This medicine helps the red cells with the capacity to supply oxygen to the body in the fight against the virus. It also reduces the capacity of the virus to replicate. It is not just the hydroxychloroquine that we shall produce locally, as I have already said. All the other protective equipment, masks, scrub suits, goggles, protective gloves, etc., will be produced here. I was clearing with His Excellency Modi about the machine tools for some of the efforts. I thank him for his cooperation. I'm determined, as always, to ensure that Uganda gets out of the posture of being an importing country for products that we can make here. Back to our doctors and health workers, once again, I salute them for their professionalism. They have been able to heal these initial coronavirus cases and stay free of the virus themselves. I'm told some health workers have not yet got stickers for their vehicles. General Katumba will resolve that. You have heard how much damage that virus has caused among the health workers in other countries. Praised be the Lord that ours are safe. By the 5th of May 2020, we shall have a clear picture, and lifting of the restrictions will start systematically, as will be announced at the night, will be announced at the right time within the 21 days. If we are to open to relax the restrictions, they will be announced before. We start with the public transport maybe, because if we say we open schools, how will you open schools if there is no public transport? So we shall have to work out to a systematic plan of how to bring things back to normal within these 21 days. I thank you and I wish you good luck. They say you wanted me to answer some questions. I can answer 10. Oh, donations. Oh, there are people, many people, or many groups have donated. Top on the list is His Highness the Kabaka of Buganda, who contributed 100 million, and also almost 3 tons of maize flour, wash tanks, buckets, and so on. Bunyoro Kingdom contributed protective gear worth 60 million shillings. Japan Motors, they contributed 8 vehicles, they pledged. Pakistan community, they pledged 1 ambulance. Government of India, 2 ambulances which were delivered. Tororo Investments, motor vehicles pledged. Yashino Trading, MV Land Cruiser station wagon, 4-wheel drive. Victoria Motors, Mitsubishi double cabin. Pepsi Crown Beverages, a new 4-wheel drive double cabin. Harris Investments, MV1 ambulance. Dot services, motor vehicle pickup double cabin. Tembo Steel, MV pickup double cabin. And 100 million shillings. They also, huh? Mm. No, you can clarify later.
Your Excellency, there are two columns. For instance, when you read Pep's Crown Beverages, the double cabin, but they also contributed assorted foods valued at 760 million. So there is a second column. Even, yes, even
okay.
the Ashino Trading Limited,
Okay.
apart from the Land Cruiser, they also contributed 5 million shillings.
Okay.
And yes, so there are two columns, Your Excellency.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Then Dot Services, they also contributed sanitizers. Then Tembo, they contributed a vehicle and also 100 million shillings. Indian Association, single cabin pickup, Tata, and then maize flour, 10,000 kilograms, beans 10,000, salt 15,000 kilograms, milk 5,000 liters, soap 200 cartons. People's Republic of China, 2 ambulances, Tiangting, 2 brand new pickup jeeps, Chinese Mali Industrial, 2 double cabins. These are the ones they gave me. Mandela, motor vehicle double cabin, 2 Mandela. Sudhir Rupaleria, 2 pickups. Kamrichireka, 1 million shillings. This is a parish, Namugongwero C1. They contributed 1 million shillings. Eva Olivia Baraka, 1.6 million. Katongole Joseph Boda Rider, 10,000 shillings. Njagala kwebaza Katongole. Gold Star Batteries, 10 million. And then Olivia Baraka also contributed maize flour 5,000 kilograms, oil 5 cartons, sugar 25 bags, rice 625 kilograms, salt 25 bags, soap 25 cartons. Mayogaston Kware, 10 million. Gold Star Batteries, 10 million. Total Cables, 10 million. Goodman Group of Companies, 100 million. Karibun Lounge, 100 million. Then Goodman also contributed biscuits, 100 boxes. Chugund Hamisi, our rich young man, 100 million. Leaf and Tobacco Commodities, 100 million. Mota Engir, Africa, 100 million. Pasta Bujingo, 100 million. Southern Range, 100 million. Stanbic Bank, 100 million. Yog Steels and Millennium Tires, 100 million. King Caesar University, the king of, he was the king of nowhere. Just king of himself, because they were from there, were about to kill him. They thought, we have no kings. I said, no, I'm just king of myself. So how can you stop somebody from a king of himself? So King Caesar, 100 million. Meridian Tobacco, 150 million. Said they are allied to Leaf Tobacco. Luuka Plastics, 20 million. And then they also gave 400 pieces of plastic cups, plastic utilities. Okelo Tonyi Kwanya, 20 million. Sino Hydro and Power China, 20 million. Maize flour, 4,000 kilograms. Cooking oil, 160 liters. Victoria Nairo Plastics, 20 million. Lebanese community in Uganda, 200 million. And water boxes, 100 cartons. Toro Cement, 200 million. Kimbo Samuel, 5 million. He fetches water. This Kimbo fetches water. Swastika Pharmaceuticals, 5 million. Seyano Brothers, 50 million. Universal Multipurpose, 7 million. Achiza Blessed, 20 million. China Chamber of Commerce, 20 million. China Communication CCC, 10 million, and then mattresses 60, water 100 cartons, mosquito nets 100, jik 20 cartons. China Huangpai Food Machines Limited, 100 million. Darling Products, 200 million. Diamond Trust, 250 million. Arab Contractors, 75 million. Leco, 10 million. Coca-Cola, 87 million. IGAD, $100,000. Rosa Marango, 1,000. Thank you so much, our daughter. Uganda Global Business, $1,050 cash. Erumeru from Nigeria, $150,000. This is the one he sent me. Sunbelt Industry, $30,000. Akdenizi, a Turkish businessman, $3,550 cash. Coffee, $40,000 for test kits. Dreamline Furniture Interiors, $5,300 cash. Alfil Construction Materials, $5,300 cash. Zenith Supplies, $5,300 cash. Mulamu, $6,200 cash, dollars. Dolphine paper, $800 cash. Ajuman Burhani Makindi, maize 200 kilos, beans 200 kilos, rice 200 kilos, oil 100 liters, soap 100 pieces. Black soap 17,000 bars. China Civil Engineering, check. Mattress is 115. China Railway number 19, mattress is 115. China Railway number 3, mattress is 57, face mask 500, sanitizer 30 liters. China Railway number 5, face mask 300. China Railway number 7, mattress is 88. China State Engineering Company, maize flour 2,700 kg, 56 mattresses. China Wuyi Company, mattress is 115. Chongqing International, mattress is 115. Blankets 214. Mosquito nets 2015. Chloroquine tablets 2,000. Church of Uganda, maize flour 565 bags. Beans 500 kilograms. DAF Agro, tea leaves. Food machinery, maize flour 10,000 kilograms. Wheat flour 30,000 kilograms. Fresh cuts, maize flour 10,000 kilograms. Haji Abdu Chiyimba Meya, water 800 cartons. Hill water 419 cartons. Hoyoma sugar, yes. Sanitizer 10,000 liters. Igara tea leaves. They've given you some tea leaves for your chai. Karo sugar, sugar 500 bags. Kenya sugar 20,000 kilograms. L1 group companies, sugar 800 bags, baking flour 416 cartons, soap 1,000 bars. Link global commodity, maize flour 500 kilograms. Mbuga SK, maize flour 40,000 kilograms. Mega Industries, soap 100 cartons. Mugabe Anthony Jinja, maize flour 2,000 kilograms, beans 2,000 kilograms. Nairobi Breweries, maize flour 18,000 kilograms. Ntake Bakery, maize flour 2,500 kilograms. Pembe Bajabe Miras, baking flour 100 cartons, cooking oil 50 cartons. People Power Kamocha, maize flour 250 kilograms, salt 30 cartons, soap 30 boxes. Presidential initiative on banana, Tokyo flour 4,000 kilograms. Prime Media Network, milk UHT 200 cartons, billboards worth 60 million. Property Services, soap 100 cartons, baking flour 99 bags. Quality Cuts, maize flour 10,000 kilograms. Revolutionary Guards, maize flour 5,000 kilograms. Roadmaster, maize flour 3,000 kilograms, beans 1,500 kilograms. Sarai Group, wheat flour 5,000 bags, sugar 20,000 kilograms, soap 10,000 bars. Hoima International Airport, maize flour 2,200 kilograms, beans 1,300 kilograms. Seroma, maize flour 4,800 kilograms. Sheraton Staff, maize flour 100 kilograms, beans 50 kilograms. Seninde Foundation, maize flour 5,000 kilograms to the district. This is must go to the right address. Must not take it just like that. Tasco, wheat, 5,000 sacks. Teju Solid Factory, juices, 2,250 cartons. Thomas Group, milk UHT, 100 cartons. Twin Source Agro, maize flour, 3,000 kilograms. Uganda Grains Limited, rice, 1,250 kilograms. Uganda Manufacturer Association, assorted list of supplies valued at Uganda shillings 500 million. Unabek, maize flour 41,845 kilograms, beans 14,240 kilograms. Unira Staff, maize flour 5,000 kilograms, soap 100 cartons, mattresses 282. Zongmai Engineering Group, mattress 57. Summary here, 31 vehicles, cash donations, 3 billion 280 million 140,000 shillings, and then US dollars 343,000 US dollars. I thank these contributors so much. You can see that we are going really to these are the same You can see we are now going to respond. Like this 3.2 billion, for me, I want to concentrate on buying vehicles for the Ministry of Health. I want to create a fleet of 1,350 so that we can have 10 per district. Like this, so we can use them in this response, and when the response is over, they can be oiled and kept for packed until there is a fresh, because we do it normally in the army. We call it mothballing, where you insulate and oil and keep, and when there is war, you get it out and remove the oil and you use. That's what I would recommend, so that the Minister of Health in the future doesn't have to run around looking for this capacity, that capacity. We should create it now. So I can answer some questions, 10 of them.
Your Excellency, I just wanted to say that we shall be updating you every 2 days. Like, for instance, this morning, before we came, there were so many donations of cars, of food, of medical equipment. So every 2 days, we shall be giving you the list, Your Excellency. Thank you very much.
And I would happily read them out.
Thank you, sir.
And keep them in my file.
Thank you, Excellency. Your Excellency, these are some of the issues we've gathered from your people out there who want your guidance on the same. Your Excellency, we have a lot of people who have been complaining about their loans, that they borrowed a lot of money from the banks. Is it possible for government to discuss with the financial institutions and find a favorable way of loan payment plans? Your Excellency, the other issue is about hostility towards the security forces. You did talk about it, but just to report to you that a few days ago, one soldier lost an eye in Bibia Amur district, and the commander in Kisoro, the UPDF commander's vehicle, was also stoned. I think if you emphasize the relationship between the soldiers and our people down there, that is for their own security, it will create a more great relationship. The other issue is about security doctors and the veterinary drugs and the people who deal in small-scale farms. There's veterinary doctors that have emphasized the medical doctors, but they've left out veterinary doctors. They have not got their stickers to go out and check on their clients' animals, Your Excellency. So is there a plan for them to also be able to visit their animals? Some people are losing birds, poultry birds. Others are losing animals because they can't access these services. Your Excellency, there's more clarification that is needed on the use of bicycles, because yesterday police did give a directive that the bicycles should stop moving by 2 p.m. The last time, Your Excellency, you did emphasize that it's the borders, but yesterday the police issued another directive that the bicycles should stop at 2 p.m. From West Nile, Your Excellency, they say they don't have power because of a legal issue between the power suppliers and their banks, and the case is in court. They say, Your Excellency, can some of these cases be dealt with digitally, electronically, and be resolved in court so that people can be able to access some of these services? Your Excellency, the other thing is about patients on palliative care, people with HIV, AIDS, TB, kidney problems that need dialysis, pregnant women. They say, you did mention the RDCs, but they say if they have their own vehicles or the borders and they have proof that they're going for this treatment, why don't they let them have access to the health facilities, Your Excellency? Your Excellency, the other issue is about large farms, those who use tractors. They say tractors can't access their farms because they say it's not one of the essential services, that it's a planting season. People hire out tractors, but now they can't move to go to their farms to clear their gardens. So what should they do in this circumstance? Lastly, Your Excellency, is about contingency plans for Ugandans who are locked outside. They were coming back, they are locked outside, they're incurring losses. Is government going to get them a stipend for them to be able to face this loss, Your Excellency? Thank you very much.
Okay. The issue of loans, definitely we are going to discuss with the banks to see how to help these people of the loans. Not to pay the loans for them, because we don't have that type of money, but to see, I cannot support that the banks confiscate their property. There should be a way of stretching out the time. When the business resumes, the banks should not count this time when there was no work. They should discount it. They should remove it. They should not say, Museveni, you are supposed to pay in 12 months, you have not paid. Yes, I have not paid because for 2 months I didn't work. So you need to add me another 2 months. Something like that. We shall discuss. We shall discuss with the banks to tell them to be realistic, because they are here. They are part of our life. They are not in outer space. They see what's happening. So we shall not allow them to make a fool of themselves, to say you have not paid, therefore we are not going to support that. Now, hostility to soldiers, that is foolishness. The only problem are these soldiers also, they are not systematic. That's why I want the leaders who are here to issue them with the... I had told them the other time, because you beat me, I beat you until I subdue you. You have no right to beat me. You beat me, I beat you until you stop, until you lose appetite of beating me, and I bring you under control and arrest you. The only problem where we criticize the soldiers is when they are beating people with chiboko. Why are you beating? This has nothing to do with it. Or somebody is already arrested, they are beating him. No. The force I use is force self-defense, first of all, but also force to arrest you if you are resisting arrest. Now, the business of stabbing a soldier is very risky. It's like suicide, because the soldier can shoot you and you are die. I must praise those soldiers for not shooting that fellow, that is still alive, and being because that's an attack. An attack, they could easily have killed him. So you can see how disciplined our people are. Throwing stones, I talked about it. Throwing stones is especially for groups which are not anti-riot. It's very dangerous because they can't throw. So what do? Do they run away? If you throw stones, they are going to do their work. You throw stones. They are not anti-riot. They don't have shields. They don't have helmets. They just have their uniform and their uniform and their guns. So how do they control you? They can shoot in the air. There could be a drill there. Maybe shoot in the air. And they don't have rubber bullets. They have real bullets. But if you don't stop, they can shoot you. Shoot you not to kill you. Aim at the legs and you sit down and you stop throwing stones. It's clear. It's not. I think it is the commanders who don't explain to the soldiers because some of the soldiers are not so much involved in law and order, civilians, they are not used so much, but the ones who are involved, they know what to do. You should issue them with the standing orders, of course, Ochora. What's the problem? The Wananchi must know where to stop. You cannot beat me. The soldier of Uganda Army beat me how? You beat me, immediately I beat you until you are persuaded not to beat me, and I go further and arrest you. Finish. The only thing that our people do, I think they have read our Lord's Prayer wrongly. No, this is our Lord's Prayer. They left undone what they ought to have done. It is the Church of Uganda prayer book. They left undone what they ought to have done. They do things they ought not to have done, and there is no truth in them. That's where the problem is. They become harsh when they shouldn't be harsh. Then they become soft when they should be tough. This is what I can't understand. To beat me, a soldier. How? Beat me how? You beat me, I really teach you what beating means. Until you lose appetite of beating me. This is step number one. I must make you lose appetite. Never to ever beat another soldier. And then I arrest you. So that one is clear. I don't know what the issue is. The commanders here are the ones to brief the soldiers properly so that they know what they should do and they should not do. What we don't want is soldiers with kiboko or police with kiboko. Kiboko, even cows, we no longer use sticks to look after them. When you see my stick with the cows, I just do like this. So I don't beat my cows. You can never see me beating my cow. Veterinary should have stickers. So that we're not Prime Minister.
That's clear.
And they are mentioned in all my speeches. Bicycles. I think bicycles, we should discuss it in this committee. And because I don't see any problem, but you can discuss it, and then you give, the Prime Minister will sort it out, will clarify. Even the borders, I don't know why we said they should stop at 2 o'clock. We will have to study it again. What was, because the danger time is the night. Borders moving in the night is because they can be misused. But if it is still daylight, if it's still daylight when you can see, you can look at both the borders and even the bicycle. Why we want to separate cargo movement at night and only say vehicles, lorries and pickups? It is because of the crime. Because the borders are many, they go to very many places, and they can be misused for crime, together with the bicycles, the two, because they are easy. But when they still light, I don't know, you should discuss it. Even Kor Katumba discuss it with him. The night out, but when it is still light, up to 7, I don't know what, up to the curfew time, you can discuss it. Western Nile power, that there is some legal issue, I didn't know, I will find out. My Umona, get our lawyers to study that and tell us what the issue is. Palliative care, but this should be handled by the district medical officer. Because you see, these health issues are mainly centered around the district, I don't know what you call him. We used to call him district medical officer, but now the director, I don't know what is. So they really make my head go round. Because we used to have a superintendent of hospital and district medical officer, but now director, then the commissioner, then the other one is smaller than the other one. My head has gone this, I can't follow anymore. But the one who is in charge of the medical of the district, he should know these people, if they are in that district. It should not even be to ask permission. They should be knowing one another. How many of my people have this type of condition? They shouldn't even. They should be checking on them because these districts are not all that too many. They are not too big these days. You take a district like Ruchiga, this new district, how many sub-counties are there? Kamwezi, this one, Bamchuchu. How can one fail? How can the district, the DMO, fail to know the ones who have got hypertension on palliative care, so that he even makes arrangements for them? It is as if he has never heard of they are coming to Okwenyo Nyorako to explain themselves. What is this medical officer? Why doesn't he know? The people in his medical constituency. Well, this is his constituency. So yes, the RDC is coordinating, but he's coordinating just the administration side, but the medical side, the medical officer should tell the RDC Ababareke. These ones, I know them. These ones, I know them. Because the issue is that we don't want people who have no reason to move. Because when they move, they cause confusion. But this one has got a medical problem, and he has got his own car. And his medical problem is well known to the medical officer. Why should it be a problem? So, medical officers, please, and the RDCs, know the people who have got special medical issues in your area. Even the pregnant women we were talking about the other day, they should be known. The one of 8 months, because this is not from space. We know that the time for it should not be. We should be waiting. We should be waiting and prepared. Actually, that in this parish there are so many women who may deliver around this time. I think the coronavirus has also come to check on us. Because it seems people are not serious. If I am a medical officer of the whole district, why can't I, through my health center 3s? Because remember the health center 3 per sub-county. Why wouldn't that wonderful person know all the pregnant women in the sub-county? Because a sub-county, like my sub-county of Makurubita, my sub-county is in Ruero. It really, I can know everybody in the whole. If I am an official there, whether Gombora chief or medical assistant, I think the medical assistant is the one in charge of health center 3. Yes, I can know the people in my villages because Makurubita, the village is Karasa, Namayamba, the other one, the junction there, then this one, Mugogo, Kanyanda, Kaumu. I can know everybody there. If I am the medical, if I am the Gombora chief, I will know all my people. If I am the, whatever position I hold, I can know all those people. Because I know them when I was there fighting. I know almost all the families. So, please, wake up and know your people. They don't even need these special permissions, last minute. They should know them. This one has got this issue, this one has got this issue, this medical issue, this one has got this medical issue. Tractors, but I've been reading here that agriculture is a vital service. I've been reading. In English, you cannot accuse me that I read the speech in Runyankore. But even Runyankore is quite well-known language. Even if I read it in Runyankore, people would have picked it up. That agriculture is a vital service. In fact, I said all other things can close except agriculture and cargo transport and factories and medical and utility and that's what I was just reading, you know. So anybody who stops a tractor must be mad, because the tractor is not a passenger vehicle. It is well known. It's an implement. It's an implement. It's like you stop somebody going to cultivate with a hoe. I don't think that is really serious. I would like to know where they stopped it. Nabsai would whisper to me where they were stopped. Mm-hmm. Contingency plan for what? We are talking, the last point was about contingency plan. Oh, outside. You see the Ugandans who are caught out, they need to be patient. There are some children, like for instance, for whom I know, you remember our children who were in Wuhan, the other city of China, where the virus started. We couldn't get them out. We couldn't, and we shouldn't have attempted to get them out, because first they could have caused a problem to their relatives here. That's why we said, you stay where you are. Let the problem first settle down. Now the problem has settled down. At some stage, they said the money we had is now finished. These were students. So we sent them some money. Now, those groups which are stuck there, I will tell the Minister of Foreign Affairs to be in touch with them and see what plans we can work out, because they are easy. They can, either we can airlift them and put them under quarantine, because they are known. If they are 100, they only issue the expense. But like the ones in the United States, they are scattered all over the place. And even movement within the U.S. itself is not allowed now. You can't move from one state to another state, the quarantine. So how do you gather them? And we cannot send a plane to pick one person here and pick another one there. So if it can be done safely, we can airlift them. Some of them we can airlift them. And they come back and we put them under quarantine, because they are known, they are not a problem. We can put them under quarantine for some days, check them. So I think you take it up with, as long as it can be done safely, it's just a question of money. The Prime Minister will take it up with the Foreign Affairs. But we handled the one of Wuhan the way we handled them. Now the situation has, our advice was stay there until the situation calms down. Because even gathering them was not easy. Because the Chinese were not allowing movement from house to house. You are supposed to stay in your house. So how do you, even if you want to make them out, how do you do it? It is a war. This is like a war. Like the other time, I don't know whether I was already born, when I cut off part of Uganda at Katonga, I cut it off. and some other people remained this side, and people were just cut off. We had nothing to do. And we had to wait. The cut-off, we cut it off in September 1985. And people were just cut off. What could you do? And really at that time the issue was to end the war. Not all these other issues were secondary. They have cut me off here. You stay there. So it is more or less the same situation now. Because like in Wuhan, even if the government here we are a bit things are because we moved early. Recently, the Americans asked me for permission to allow them to airlift their people out, and they came and they airlifted them. And they asked me to allow some of their people to drive from Arua to come, because here things are easier. But when you have a situation where people are saying you don't move from house because the situation is so bad, what can you do? The only thing is just to wait. But here the Americans were able to ask us. Some of their people are driving from Arua, they come and converge because with a special pass they could drive. And that's what they did. If something like that can be done, we can airlift them, pay some cost and bring them back. But can it be done? Because you know in Europe, which is a house, you don't get out of your house. That's how the situation is. Okay, have I finished? Thank you so much. Yes? The fish. Oh. The fishing. But why did we stop fishing? You analyze it. Let the committee study it, because we had not concentrated on the fish. Because these fishing people, they don't fish in groups. They fish alone. They go to. Because you see, our main effort is on dispersing people who are concentrated. But these people who are operating in two groups, I don't know why it should be. Yes, Minister? Oh, so it was not the fishing per se, it was the border.
Because they can easily mix with the other communities in our partner countries.
Oh, okay. So it's like border control, not so much, because if you are fishing on Lake Kyoga, which is internal, I think the problem is that most of the lakes are on the borders. So if you can address that, because you remember our other program, which has never taken off, because that man was supposed to develop eyes on the lake to see all the boats from his office. But he has not done it, so that's where the people are suffering. So really, so if that is the case, if they are affected because of the border scene, of the border, then they can get some food support. You can register them and you give them some kawunga. Okay, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for that very long address to the nation, and of course for this new the message that we've just had. Honorable Minister, let me just get you to that.